Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Talk to End Alz. Today's video is really cool. I was able to sit down with my very first subscriber of Talk to End Alz. We met on launch day, we met online, and we were able to finally meet at the New Orleans National Alzheimer's Leadership Summit. So we had about 15 minutes between sessions, so I was able to steal some time with her. I don't want to steal her thunder. We're about to get into how she got into Alzheimer's advocacy, her path to spreading awareness for Alzheimer's. So I'm really excited for you to meet her. You're gonna fall in love with her. And remember, she's very, very young. So she's incredible, really inspirational. So yeah, without further ado, here is Shayna. This is Shayna, and Shayna and I met via Instagram.
I DM'd her.
Yes. It was the first day of my launch for this channel. You're basically my first subscriber.
I actually think I did hit subscribe right away.
Did
I was
you?
pretty excited about it. Usually I'm number 2 or 3 to watch each video because I set my notifications. So if you haven't done that, make sure you hit your subscribe and then hit your notification button so you always know when the new videos are up.
Yes, because a lot of people don't know how to do it. A lot of people think that you have to have a YouTube account in order to subscribe. A lot of people have asked me that. But
Anyone who has a Gmail account can automatically get onto YouTube. So that would be my suggestion because I also thought that you needed to have a YouTube account.
So yeah, she DM'd me and the relationship has blossomed. So you live in?
I live in Florida, so that was pretty exciting because Emily, I know that you had said that your parents lived in Florida, and I've lived all over Florida, so I figured that I would have some information about your parents' chapter.
Yes, so we suddenly had that in common right away. I live in California, so we were across the country, and I was thinking, I don't know if I'll ever meet this person, but we are here at the Alzheimer's Association Leadership Summit, which is an incredible event. You guys have been following along. And we, of all places, we meet in New Orleans.
New Orleans. Complete so opposite cool. Sides of the map, and we somehow managed to meet somewhere in the middle.
Yes, it's so cool. So it's been a magical couple of days, and I'm just so glad to have met you.
Cool. It just it goes to show it's all one huge community.
It really is, and what I'm seeing through my short time with the Alzheimer's Association so far is they're so accepting and loving, and they want to, there's no you can't do this, you can't do that. If you're doing something wonderful for the organization, they're going to push you to do it, or just encourage you and say, what kind of tools do you need, which is the response that I've received every time, which is so cool. So really happy to be here. Tell us a little bit more about your family.
So I originally got involved with the Alzheimer's Association. I joined my walk committee when I was 17. My mom and dad own a home health agency franchise in Florida, in South Florida. It was an easy transition for us. My parents have a lot of clients who deal with the disease and with dementias, and they are supportive of their caregivers who are going into the homes every day. And my maternal grandfather became the primary caregiver for both his father and his sister. And my mom noticed a big change in his behavior while he was a caregiver because he was trying to be supportive of his brother-in-law, and he was this my great-grandma had passed away years earlier, so he was the primary caregiver for his father. And it was a natural progression. My mom joined the walk committee, and I went to walks with her, and then I started going to meetings with her, and then next thing I knew, I was the youngest committee member, and it kind of just, I went away to college. I would come home every year and do the walks, and then when I moved up to Tallahassee this year, I wanted to get involved.
Amazing. And were there other kids whenever you were younger? Were there other kids your age, teenagers your age, walking with you, or was it pretty much you?
Well, I do have a brother also, and he was always on my parents' walk team with us. He does some for the association, not as involved as I am, but I'm a social worker, so it's just my heart gives out and I have to.
It's not for everybody.
It's in my nature.
My brothers are the same way. I'm more, outspoken and giving, and they're a little bit more to themselves. So.
He works with my parents now, and he does a lot. Our family is my dad's also a nurse, so my parents are very compassionate towards the geriatric population, and I think they're a very underserved population.
Agreed. That's where you get it from.
That is where I get it
It's
from.
pretty incredible. Yeah. So you're also very involved policy-wise, right?
From the public policy perspective, I actually, I got involved originally on a walk planning committee like you did this year, and then I got really close with our public policy manager at the Southeast Florida chapter, and she kind of somehow recruited me and my mom to start doing advocacy with the association. And I think that honestly, the work that they're doing on the public policy side, I hope I never have to take a step back from either side, but like I can't imagine being involved with the association without the advocacy side of it now, because I mean the biggest push that we're trying to get people to understand really is that Alzheimer's is a public health issue. It is. I mean, you could wake up tomorrow and it doesn't discriminate. It affects everyone, and everyone should be worried. You could wake up one day and not remember your name.
Yeah, the advocacy side has been a big part of this, which has been such a great learning experience because it's not something that is top of mind all the time for everybody, and it has been such a good learning experience. Tell us a little bit about your experience with your local representative.
So I actually, even though I got my start in the Southeast Florida chapter, I moved up to Tallahassee in August, which is really cool because, as a lot of people know, Tallahassee is the capital of Florida. So there's, the old state capital and the new state capital, and there's a lot of legislation going on all year round, mostly just when it's in session, which actually started a couple weeks ago. So Florida was the first state to have State Advocacy Day this year. So we attended our rally and tally. My mom came up from South Florida, so it was nice to see her for a couple days.
The building was lit up in purple.
The building was lit up purple.
I'll put it here. It was awesome.
But there's a lot of good legislation happening all year round, and Florida has a lot of really great champions, one of them being Scott Plakin. So he was actually able to speak here yesterday, which was kind of cool because I didn't know he was coming up this week.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
He not a dry eye in the audience. He was incredible with the littlest things that you can do with hospital bracelets and the scarves, no matter what your political side.
Right.
Red and blue create purple. So good. So good. I'll provide a link below of that because I think it was live streamed. I'm sure it was recorded.
I actually think it was, yeah. But I mean, it's really cool because Scott Plakin, for those of you who don't know, he's a representative in the House for Florida, and his wife is actually suffering with Alzheimer's.
She wasn't able to make it this year, but she has come to previous summits.
She actually, if I'm not mistaken, she was actually at rallies, so that was kind of nice, and his daughter came up here with him this week, so that was a good support system for him.
Fortunately and unfortunately, younger people are getting involved because they're being hit at a younger age. With my mom getting diagnosed at 30 and I was only 20, or my mom being diagnosed at 60 and I was only 24 at the time, it's pretty young, and it seems to be happening more and more.
A lot of what we talk about is like you're something that's called the sandwich generation, which means that you're caring for your young daughter, but you're also caring for your mom, though it may be long distance, like you're still a support for your father and things like that. So the sandwich generation is that generation that's just caught in between. So unfortunately, that's what you could be classified as, but it also means that, like though your daughter is young, some people have kids a little older and they're also really getting involved in the fight because they're watching their grandparents deteriorate. And, like Aaron yesterday, he's 16 and he watched his grandparents have to deal with the disease and he wants to do his part.
Yeah, he's incredible. That also not a dry eye inside after he went on. So in awe of everyone who was speaking and sharing their story and able to keep it together on stage while they're telling their story. And everyone is, crying in front of them. It's these are really strong people. You have to be strong to go through something like this. Yeah.
Not only do you have to be strong to like go through this, but you have to be strong to be able to take what you're feeling and channel it into something positive, which is like the positivity in the room for general session is just off the charts because that everyone there is here to fight the good fight.
Yeah, the energy that people bring as they leave the room to go to their next session. It's so smart to start with these sessions at the beginning of the day. They're tear jerkers and they tug at your heartstrings because you've been through that or you are going through it at that time. and it only makes you want to fight and network more and just spread your sphere of influence so that you can do as much good for the cause as possible.
So when I was at Advocacy Forum last year, someone who was speaking at General Session had, like, I think it's now my favorite quote. I haven't stopped quoting it all year. Anger is like gasoline, and if you spray it around and light a match, you've got an inferno. But if you take that gasoline and you put it into something like an engine, it fuels you.
Yeah, that's a good
So
one.
advocacy is a really big engine. So everyone here is just here to, power up the engine and move it forward.
That's a good one. I love that. The woman who lost her husband.
Yeah.
What did she say?
Make sure you're doing okay while you're doing good.
Yes. And that's so important, I think, for anyone going through anything, not even...
That's a big legislative priority right now, too. Respite Care.
Yes.
So, it's so important to take care of yourself. If you're caring for a loved one, you have to make sure you have that me time because, a lot of times in people who are taking care of Alzheimer's patients, you see that, they stop taking care of themselves and then, they put their health on the back burner and then, you don't even realize that your own health is declining because you're so busy trying to take care of someone else that a lot of times caregivers will actually lose their lives before their loved ones that they're caring for.
So do you have any tips for how to get through to perhaps a stubborn or perhaps, in denial caregiver to get them to get some help?
So someone brought up a really good point yesterday. A speaker said that she had asked her parents several times, what do you want to do? And her father didn't want to do anything. And then she got the suggestion to pose the question another way. And the question was, what do you want to happen when there's a crisis? It posed the question in a different way, just enough for it to not be, pressuring, but to be just something to think about if something were to happen, which unfortunately it's inevitable, something will happen. What would you want to do to handle it?
It's good because it kind of separates yourself and it also allows you to think about what you would like to do whenever you are probably more level-headed and less emotional. So yes, I think it was for that session too. That was a good one.
Posing the question, what do you want to happen when it's a crisis? That's where the Alzheimer's Association is able to come in because they're able to link you to those resources. So if you do need respite care or you are looking to get involved in advocacy and share your story and be that engine instead of the inferno, those are the places and the resources that you want to connect with, and the Alzheimer's Association is who's able to put you in contact with that. So if you're interested in advocacy, I would definitely, after your next walk meeting, ask who the public policy manager is at your office and, set up a meeting with them and ask what you can do. Or if you want to get involved with educating the community, ask who is in charge of programming. You don't have to just be on the walk committee, and there's a lot more you can do besides fundraise.
Yes, and it's at the local level, so it's not like you are, going to another state or you're traveling. You are doing it right where you live, and there's something I think really powerful about that. You see what you are putting so much effort into,
right
and
into your community.
Yes. What will you do whenever the world doesn't have Alzheimer's anymore?
I've actually been thinking about that a lot lately. What would I do if there was a world without Alzheimer's? I was actually having a conversation with my mom the other day. I really want to do programs in Tallahassee. I'm a social worker by trade, so I really want to go out in the community and educate, on the research and all of the resources in the communities. And I was saying to my mom, it's so funny because I want to apply for this job that I hope that I'm not going to need in 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the day where, they're going to lay me off because no one needs those resources anymore because all you have to do is go to CVS and pick up your drug.
Yeah, exactly. That day will come, hopefully sooner rather than later, and all these people will stop having to suffer through this devastating disease, and we will get there.
But yesterday, Scott Plakin was saying, he was just imagining a conversation that he had in the parking garage. Someone asked him how his wife was. And after he got in the car, he was envisioning himself, having a whole different conversation saying, you know what, my wife is good, she's coming back. And, that was a really powerful moment for the room, but it was also powerful if you think about it, because out of all of the 10 most deadly diseases, Alzheimer's is the only one that can't be cured, slowed, or reversed. So that was powerful, because you just have to think about the fact that, like, maybe one day there is a way that we will be able to reverse it.
Yes. That one really got me.
Yeah.
Because I think of my mom and her, she's in the Engage and Emerge program in Florida, and what if someday they come up with a drug that really does bring them back and brings their brain back, and the decay doesn't happen, and their memories come back, and the human that you grew up with came back.
Yeah.
That would be incredible. It'll happen. It'll happen someday.
Someone's going to be able to say it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that we met.
It was really exciting to meet. Of all places to meet Emily, I met her in the lunchroom.
Yes.
I just kind of bumped into her.
Yeah. Yay. Thank you. You're going to do such great things.
Thank you. I'm so excited for you and for this channel.